you know.
We're live.
Good day, everybody. This is Scratch and Jack. I'm your host for Amazing Plastics Across the Pond Hangout. I'm wearing underwear today. Thank you very much. And today we have joining us members of Amazing Plastic and followers of Amazing Plastic who'd like to share their tips and tricks with one another and revel in one another's scale modeling achievements. Let's get started right away. From my Google left to right, it would be Andy. Andy's always first because his last name starts with a G. Gee, Andy, what's up?
If we started from the A.
Gee, Andy, what's up?
I'm all right. Hope everyone else out there's okay. It's very sunny here. I'm very happy today.
Being in England, that's an event. That's an event.
Oh, yeah, making the most of it. It's lovely.
Yeah, well, okay. And what's that?
The Aztec masks for the Into Darkness Enterprise. So I'm slowly picking away and getting ready for some fancy paint and 4-month build, maybe 5 months, another month and it'll be done. So yay, happy.
Oh, very good. Then did you get anything done lately?
To be honest, no. I've just been. I got the nacelles painted up, good lacquer coats on them. Checked all the wiring several times this week, and just slowly picking away at the masks, getting them ready to transfer bit by bit and start putting some nice paint down and start thinking about a base as well.
Okay, cool. Next up, we have the man from Down Under, Heath. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, Jack, and good evening, everybody. How are we all?
We are fine. How are you?
I'm surviving. I'm very well. It's been a lovely day over here in Australia. 29 degrees today.
How much?
29 degrees.
29 degrees Celsius would be like 70, 80 degrees.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty warm that day.
Oh, yes, very nice. And I've got this on my bench.
Okay. And that is?
A Polar Lights AMT D7.
Nice.
Yeah,
1/1000th scale.
That's a cute little model kit, and you're doing a good job. So you're painting it.
And they come with a clicking device.
Well, you don't like your model kit cute? Yeah, I just said one word. I said cute. Look what happens to the guy.
Well, I have done some painting. I've painted that. This is going to be a custom paint job. This is going to be grey and white.
Okay.
So yeah. Anyway, I must go now. Bye bye.
Next up, we have James. How you doing, James?
I'm doing fine there. And I'm switching gears at the moment just for a little bit, and I'm going to attack my my T-Max Maxi scooter kit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just assessing it last night, seeing where the seams are and that, and what colors I got to get for it, and what modifications to make it more like the real thing than what they suggest in the book.
Mm-hmm.
So other than that, the kit doesn't look too bad. The worst seams are on the figure, which is normal.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, it looks pretty. I'm actually pretty happy with the chrome. They didn't go with the garish chrome. They went with more with a brushed aluminum look, which actually looks pretty good for this model without having to strip it.
Right.
So
your paper airplane is done yet?
No, it's not done yet. I'm just doing a little side build for right now. This one won't take too long to build. Just something different for a change.
It's kind of nice that you're coming over to the dark side.
I found your plastic disturbing.
And next up we have Phil. Sorry, Phil, from the last time when my internet dropped out and I wasn't able to get back on, and I couldn't even really talk to you. So what's going on, Phil?
Well, not a lot. Just continuing with Missouri, but rather than try and move the mountain to show you, I just took some photos before. So I finished the bow section. You can see that.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
Very nice.
And now I need to going to move on to the stern. So basically I'm doing the front end and then the rear end, and then I'll start on the superstructure. So yeah. So
Nice.
that's about 3 weeks of work there.
Could you zoom in on the guns there, on the turret guns? Are you able to zoom in?
Let's see if I can zoom in. Yes, I can. Let's get that. I'm looking at the photo. Tell me if that looks okay.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. So far, so good. Zoom it more. Okay. Oh, look at the detail you're doing on that. Wow.
Yeah. It's a bit hard to see, but that's these are the directors, which are a little bit blurred now. There's a couple. I'm presuming there's a couple of torpedoes. They're sort of sitting in a funny spot, and there doesn't appear to be any method of launching them, but that's what they are. These 40mm Bofors have. There's a little piece of photo etch along the back here. But, yeah, it's and of course these are the 50 cals. But there's a lot of all these ammo boxes here.
Yeah.
And whatever, and these, I presume also these control some sort of steam pistons for raising and lowering anchors. I mean, of course, with the colour of the deck and the camouflage, every piece has to be painted to match whatever the piece of deck is. So it kind of takes a little while to put it all together, but it's fun. It's going well.
Yeah, Phil, those may be minesweepers rather than torpedoes.
Oh, okay.
That they'd string out on cables the other side to catch the floating mines.
Oh,
and the sort of mines in the water.
Well, that makes a lot of sense given this wing arrangement on them. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So to get a sense of scale, what's the diameter of those circular portions?
Here, these ones.
Yeah. Yes.
Let me just quickly put my ruler on them. They are exactly 1 1/4. No, that's not true. Yeah, about 1 1/4 inches across.
1 1/4 inches would be about 3.5 centimeters, I'd say.
Well, yeah, it's actually on my ruler. Actually,
Maybe 3 centimeters.
Just under 3. Yeah.
Just under 3. Yeah, 3 centimeters. Yeah, that's a big model kit. That's a big model kit, and the detail you're working on is like pretty cool stuff there. Really nice. And next up, what's that, Phil?
Oh, thank you. In Spanish.
Welcome. How you doing? How you doing, Spike?
Oh, bad yourself, mate.
I'm doing very well, thank you. How things are in Melbourne?
Oh, not too bad. Weather's a bit all over the place at the moment, but otherwise it's okay.
What you working on?
Nothing at the moment. I finished my last 2 projects. I did the snow speeder and I did the 32, and that was it.
I bought a 16 scale 65 Mustang hardtop. Do you have any suggestions for
me? Is that the AMT one?
It's the AMT, and it says it comes with cables.
Yeah, I think it allows you to do your spark plug wires and that, I think.
Where would you suggest I would find a way to do that? I have no idea what I'm going to do when I open that kit up.
It should be in the instructions. If it's got the wiring for the spark plug leads, that should be all in the instructions.
Well, I just forgot that model kits come with instructions. I'm sorry. So just follow the instructions. All right. I haven't gotten it yet, but I just thought I'd ask you because you and the guys you hang with do a lot of cars and really detail up the engines and do the cables for the distributor. And I don't know. I thought you guys had a magic formula.
pretty sure you'll find that your distributor will probably be already like pre-drilled for your wires to go already in the distributor, and then you just have to put them to your heads.
Well, my thinking is that they're supposed to be in a specific order to make it correct.
Yeah, well, I mean, for that, depending on the instructions, because they'll probably be a little bit not up to scratch sort of thing, you have to chase around and get the right firing order for a 302 or 289. So it'll probably be 289, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
That's not hard to find. You can find it on the internet.
Thank you. I'll when I get it, I'm supposed to get it like on Wednesday, according to what eBay's telling me, and we'll see.
Well, if you want to fire, if you get stuck or something like that, you need the firing order, let me know and I'll send it to you, because I've got all those tucked away on the computer somewhere, the firing order for Chevs, Dodges, and then Fords. So if you get stuck, let me know.
Oh, thank you. That's what Amazing Plastic is about, to make a model and ask those who know better than you do. And as you well know, Spike, I might be the sci-fi guy, but I feel as though I'm probably the only sci-fi guy that dabbles in other things. And cars I do like. I like cars and I like things that fly. So that's pretty much where I'm going to.
I am here, Jack.
There you are. That's right. You do that too. You do cars as well, and you do a kind of
planes. Anyway.
Yeah, you do even NASCAR.
I do NASCARs and I do Formula Ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still working on a Skyline that I've got there.
Okay.
I'm also still working on a hardtop on a what is it?
When I started thinking about doing cars, I was thinking about starting what Heath had said me from Australia, and this is I believe.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, this is a format, and you know what's something though? I had opened this when I got it, and it's Japanese. Well, there's some English in here, and German. Okay, got English and German. And there's a lot of parts here.
The idea, Jack, is I wanted to give you a challenge. I think I just gave you one.
This is certainly a challenge, and it would be just a challenge finding the parts, not even putting it together.
Well, if you take that fine mold Falcon, and then you take, like, say, the Enterprise, somewhere in between there, you'll get that thing done.
Yeah, but this is a 20 scale, which is even larger than the 25, like the cars. So this would be bigger than a usual car. It certainly has a lot of parts.
You will find that all of the Formula One models and some of the NASCARs are like, help me out here, Spike. Tell me if I'm right here, Spike. NASCARs are like 125 scales.
Yeah.
And the F1s are like 120 scales.
Yeah.
Well, it called my name, and I just might get it started anyway. Maybe in the wintertime when I can't be down here because it's cold, and I can probably get this assembled upstairs in my office. But of course, I don't have any computer connection.
The red that you use for that Ferrari is called a scarlet red.
Oh, scarlet red would be the color, but that's, yeah, okay.
It's not that red. It's not that red. It's a scarlet red.
Yeah.
Scarlet red. All right, very good. And what I'm working on right now, actually, since I did my F-14, and I got lazy and didn't put the landing gear on. In fact, some of the missiles are missing because the way they constructed this model, I didn't do it in the proper order, and it didn't get on. So, but I did do the MiG here in the proper order, but the problem is when I painted it last night, I painted the landing gear. So I'm supposed to paint this before putting the landing gear on. That's okay. This is actually the tester's kit.
What is that, 172?
It's actually a very tiny kit, but it was fun. With these little testers kits, there's not that many parts, and in fact, if having had build a small handful of these kits, I've come to the conclusion that if somebody asks me where do I begin in the hobby, I would suggest them the testers kit because they're easy to build, there's fewer parts, and they're cool. They're cool. They do really cool model kits. I have some World War II ones. The Dauntless was hanging behind me up there next to Darth Vader's TIE Fighter. It's a very tiny plane, but it was a lot of fun to build. So that's what I would suggest. What do you think, guys? Do you think you would suggest a specific kind of model kit if somebody asked you, "I want to get started in the hobby"?
I would actually say start with a snap type.
Really?
Because depending on the age of the person who's asking, really.
Oh, I'm thinking more of an adult.
Oh well, in that case, I'd start with a 1/7 scale.
Well, that would depend on what you're doing. If you're
Yeah.
1/72
If it was
would be actually quite tiny.
If it was a child that asked me, what should I start out with? Something that's no fuss and no nothing. I'd get actually one of the Star Wars snap type kits. The ones that are pre-painted, all ready to go. All you have to do is just snap it together, and there you are.
Well, that would be for a kid. I'm talking more like an adult.
Yeah, but I'm just
Well,
saying.
I mean, if you're teaching a kid how to, do the glue and not necessarily sniff it like we do, like a 12-year-old or something, I'd do the tester's kit.
Jack, you're digging yourself a grave here, pal. Here's the hammer. Here's the nail. Keep hammering.
No, so you'd just say a snap kit. Is that what you're saying?
I would say a snap kit for the absolute beginner.
Really? What do you guys think?
Well, yeah, I would say for a beginner to start off with a low parts count kit of whoever is manufacturing.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm saying testers or fewer parts.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to agree with Jack. I mean, for a kid, snap type. But I think for someone older, they really wanted to start with modeling. I don't think a snap type kit would offer them satisfaction. Kids need a quick result, and so therefore, yeah, snap kind of works for them. But someone a bit older, and I would start with something in a little bit larger scale than 1/72.
Well, I would do a larger scale for a kid because of the small parts of the smaller kits.
Well, that I would start. I would suggest to them a 1/48 scale rather than a 1/72 scale. 1/72 scale is pretty damn small, and it can be harder to work with. So you're talking a person who's just starting out. Yeah, they can skip detail. But
That's a 1/7 X-wing there. That's a 1/72.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that a starting model. I mean, in a snap type maybe, but that's also. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't a kid, yes, but an adult, no, and I certainly wouldn't start them on a fine molds kit because it can be expensive. I'd start them on a
That's
20.
Rebel.
I'd start them on a
That's
20.
Rebel.
Okay, a $20.
Oh, yeah. I agree. I agree.
From Hobby Lobby.
I agree because like the fine mold kits and the kit that I just showed, I'm intimidated by it because it's got like 12 sprues, let alone 12 parts. So I'm intimidated by it actually, and yes, Heath, you did give me the challenge. What do you think, Spike? Where would you start someone in the modeling?
Well, I've discussed this a while back on one of my videos because you guys might have known, but there was a lot of controversy brought up about AMT kits, how bad they are and stuff like that. And I happened to mention that if somebody was starting off and they wanted to build a car kit, I would tell them to go and buy a Tom Daniels monogram kit, which is back from late 60s, early 70s, because They're 24 scale, 25th scale kit, so it's a good scale for them. And also, they're very basic kits. There's not a lot in them, but they're simple to put together. And then you can work from that, and then if you want to go a step further, you can move on to something else. But just something that's basic, easy to put together, got a good paint description on how to put together, instruction-wise, paint-wise. I tell them to go and buy Tom Daniel's kit, build that, and then if you like that, move on from there. That's my opinion anyway.
Well, yeah, I don't know what the controversy is about AMT kits. I think they're perfectly fine. And in fact, they do give the beginner a challenge to clean the parts up and to fit them together better and sand and putty and whatever else. I mean, I think Go ahead.
No, all I was going to say, the controversy was, or what it was all about, a lot of people were complaining about AMT because of like one-piece interiors and not proper detail on that. And I tried to explain because a lot of the new guys that's coming into it now wouldn't know, but a lot of early AMT and Limburg kits were actually promos. So if your father went and bought a car at the local dealership, he'd get a little promo. And eventually they started off as promos, and then when model kits started taking off, they started putting like extra parts into the kits, and that's why some of these kits have got, when you turn them around underneath, the chassis already got the exhaust system and the motor mold in. They were originally promos back in the early days. That's why. And a lot of people don't understand that, why they're that way, and that's why, because they originally started as promos, then they put extra parts in and started manufacturing them as model kits, not as promos.
Yeah. I remember my dad saying something about that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to show the box launch there. I'm going to show the box of the Mustang that I had bought.
Yep.
This is the 50-year anniversary one, I would suppose. And right there at the bottom, it says opening doors and hood, vinyl hoses and wiring, stock or custom.
Yeah, well, your vinyl hoses, they're possibly for heater and radiator, and your wiring will be for your spark plug wires.
Well, this is an AMT kit, and I'll say, though, AMT for me is kind of a hit and miss whether I really enjoy the build or it's a so-so build. But I found their car kits rather easy to build.
Yeah.
You know, and I found it enjoyable because it is easy and it does have a level of detail for a beginner. You have a specific kit in mind to get somebody started, but I certainly won't get them started on a 16 scale that has all this detail.
No.
But I would say any 25 scale or 24 scale kit would be okay. I would say, you know, whatever they like to build on it, because I built a handful of them, and I found little differences between Revell and AMT. And the differences I found at AMT, well, I should say the Revell was a little more detailed, a little more refined.
Yeah.
Just a little more refined.
I noticed with my NASCAR that not only with Revell, this is like old Revell, this is like Revell USA. They've got like the detail on that car alone. You've got to do the engine, you got to do the roll cage. It's also for 120, it's also got wiring, and I haven't seen wiring in a 125th scale car, not since I did a Formula One. And that was my Williams, and I'm still trying to get the wires onto that.
Interesting. Well, speaking of, let me ask James about paper kits.
Yeah.
And what kind of do the kits suggest using other materials to make it more detailed?
Oh yeah, sure you can. You can add wire, whatever material figure. You can add hoses. I mean,
there we go again.
So you can use whatever material that you want to add detail. So you're not limited to just making it out of paper.
Well, we just talked about what plastic styrene kit to get somebody started on styrene kits.
Yeah.
Would you say? Would you say? I don't know. I think paper model kits, in my impression, is this: that you're a much more sophisticated builder if you're using paper.
Yeah. For one thing, you've got to have patience. If you don't have really strong patience, paper modeling is going to be really frustrating for you.
Yeah. Just your expression.
Because in a lot of cases, it's not going to be. I mean, there are some models you can build in a day or so, but most of them are going to be, a week or a couple of weeks in order to of straight building in order to build. So there's no instant gratification with them.
Well, is there things that you would suggest to a beginning builder on paper models?
I would start with some of the simpler builds to start off with. Don't go into. You can even start off with some of the cubit builds, or some of the mass-produced kits that you can get from Canon. Canon's. If you go to the Canon site, Canon, yeah, the same company makes the cameras.
Okay.
They have a huge paper modeling site, and they have hundreds of downloadable patterns you can download from there, and a lot of those are really aimed at the beginner. So it's a good place to start off with.
Nice. And there is a level of detail that some of us really get into. So I'm going to shift to some genre other than cars, and I think some of you will enjoy this one. And one of our friends from Germany, Mr. Christian Buttner, is returning to modeling after a nice summer, and he's cutting windows.
Yeah.
And you sci-fi geeks, you know which kit this is. It's the Enterprise D.
It's the clear.
It's bigger than a scale that I have built here, but the windows are awfully tiny. Talk about patience. And Band-Aids.
Oh, yeah.
What does he say here? Yeah, I took a head start. They sang it to Liam, but those windows keep me busy until forever. I'm beginning to think that this D won't see the finish line, although being made of such few parts, their fit is beyond bad. And since I would like to fill all the windows with nail acrylic, again, I would need to do major paint work in Aztec prior to assembling them.
Oh no, that's the 120. That's the 125th scale.
Well, yeah, I do think I have a parts kit here. I don't have.
Oh, Christian's in for such a. Oh, that's a bastard of a kit. You need to get your putty for that.
Okay, this is the clear kit that I have here, and of course I just dumped a bunch of models onto the floor.
I thought I heard something go smash.
Okay, of course you can't see what's happening here.
I think I want to.
Let's stop that and okay. This is one of my finds that were just. Well, somebody returned this to the hobby shop saying it was a clear kit. It comes in a clear box.
That's not a clear kit.
Right. So as you see, this part is broken, but this is the length of what he's working on, and those windows are awfully tiny. So I bought this among many other models on a lot from a hobby shop, and I'm like, I opened this and I was actually kind of disappointed because it's packaged as a clear. But this is never going to be a model. It's all the parts aren't even here. It's all broken up. But anyway, what my point is that those are small windows.
You know what you could do with that kit there, Jack, don't you?
I'm sorry?
You know what you could do with that kit there, don't you?
Generations.
Leave it in the box.
Yoink!
Well, yeah, either that or put it in front of a heater like I did with my other model.
Throw it! Throw it!
Uploaded a video.
So when I was doing the redo behind me, the shelving behind me, I come across a kit. It is the commemorative Chrome kit, the 3-piece. And the reason why I built it is because I had no room on the shelf behind me. And I wasn't going to sell it because nobody wants it. And when I pulled out last night, these are scale. Okay, this would be the original series, and this is, of course, the new TV series. So they really went up in size. And I think the scale is 1400, or no, 2500. 2500 scale, and somebody says you can hang this on your Christmas tree. They look like ornaments.
That was
So I unwittingly, and I started putting decals on, and the decals are actually pretty cool. Let's see if it's going to focus. Oh, I don't know if you can see it, the red stripe on the engine.
Yeah, I can see it.
There we go. So I still have yet to decal them. But yes, that'll be Christmas ornaments.
You know what? I can see that Enterprise D on the very top. Instead of the star, there it is. The D. That capability.
So, can any of you claim that you can decorate your Christmas tree with your builds? I'm just amusing myself with that. Maybe I'll put my Mustang under the tree. That would be nice.
It depends if you've got pets or not.
No, well, on the weekends we're pet sitting, but during the week we don't.
Well, then when you're pet sitting on the weekends, move that Mustang out of the way. Trust me, I've got a cat at home, and every time it's Christmas time, we have a visit from Christmas cat. The Christmas cat climbs up the tree, gets to the very top, and then before you know it, you hear timber, boom. And the cat, looking rather sheepish, saying, "I didn't do it." And then we whoosh her outside. We call it the attack. You've heard of Attack of the Clones? It's Attack of the Christmas Cat.
Well, I'm going to bring up your Spike, your Google Plus, and that's not a kit that you built. That's not a kit you built either, and certainly those women aren't the kits you built.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for one of your builds, but you got pinup ladies on your site, and I think it's actually pretty cool because you got they're sitting around cars that are actually buildable.
My car, the cars I've just done are on the Amazing Plastics.
Oh, okay.
In completed builds or whatever it is, the category that's completed builds, I think they're on.
Member builds.
Member builds. That's it.
Okay, but there is something though I want to show. I'm going to screen share, not of anything else, because it's not. It's questionable.
Appropriate.
But it's your background on your site there. What is that?
Nice.
That's my my car that I took over 2 years to build. It's
No,
got
that's
four.
completely scratched.
It's got 4 Allison aeroplane engines in it.
One huge rat rod.
It looks like it's got an engine for each of the wheels. Oh, that's pretty funny. If it were real, it would just need wings, right?
That car I built there was based on a real car that was actually built.
Oh, really? Here, I'll make it fun of it. How fast did it go?
Car never ran.
I can see why. The chassis's too long for a start.
The car never ran. Nice.
And what turning circle would it have? A very big one.
Not a very good one.
Yeah, exactly. Not a very good one at all.
And why would you say it didn't run?
But what happened is, back in the day when that car was built, those aeroplane engines were cheap. They were giving them away. The guy got the 4 motors for nothing, virtually nothing. He paid a couple $100 each for them. What happened is he got the chassis built, he got the motors in, he got it all together, and then when he went to an engineer to get a clutch made for it, they gave him some astronomical price for the clutches to be put into it, and he couldn't afford it, so the car was never ran.
People want to make a profit these days.
So then the car got disassembled and different motors went to different people, and now today there is a guy in Texas that does own the original chassis, but they said the car will never be complete because he can't afford 4 Allisons. People have enough trouble getting rid of one, getting hold of one Allison. He needs 4 to complete the car, so it's never going to happen.
I see. Do you go to those, I don't know what you would call them, shows where they have all these? Now, I've been to like antique car, I don't want to say it's a show. They just go to a restaurant's parking lot and they show off their stock cars.
Cruise night type thing, yeah.
Cruise night.
Yeah.
I'm talking something more, I don't know, much more extreme. I'm not talking about a monster truck show, but I'm talking about some sort of show that would have custom builds like that model that you built.
Show and shines, or
show and shines, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have a lot of them down here. Actually, we have one. We have I don't know if Spike's heard of this, but we've got the Beta Birdwood, which is down here in Adelaide, which runs from the bay, and it goes up to the Birdwood National Museum, and it goes from cars from the 1920s, I think is the earliest, and it goes to the mid to late, I think 60s or 70s. I'm not quite sure, but that's probably where you'll see some of those old classic cars and some custom cars as well, like from the US and all over the world.
Yeah, because it's opened all the different years.
Yeah, we have a lot of that stuff over here, not just in Adelaide, but in Melbourne. We've got them in Sydney, we've got them in Brisbane, Western Australia, Tassie. They're all over the place.
Yeah. I'm actually getting the idea of doing a group build, and I'm sure all of us here who has built cars may have some spare parts laying around, and do a Road Warrior build, because the director of the original movies was redoing them. He's redoing his series.
Mad Max.
Mad Max, yeah.
Yeah.
Road Warrior. And, well, let me screen share this. And this is Joe McCaslin's work. I like showing his stuff on the Hangouts because it's just wonderful stuff. And this is, I think, a 1930s. I'll take it over. Spike, you know more about this.
That's a 1932 5-window coupe, Ford.
How do you get that rust to do that?
It's called weathering.
Yes, it's weathering. I understand that, but how is it done?
Well, in the United States, you guys can buy that 2-part solution, and you just paint it on. Then you put it in a plastic bag and seal the bag, and overnight it rusts for you.
Oh, okay. And there's those
lovely like coffee grounds.
I mean, there's various ways of doing rust. I know one guy that uses herbs and spices, nutmeg, stuff like that.
Well, I know one guy who does coffee grounds to make rust.
Hey, Jack.
Yeah.
And that's weird enough as it is.
Easiest way to make rust. Iron paint and activator. All you need.
Iron paint and activator.
Yep, this is acrylic paint embedded with very, very fine iron particles, and this is an alkali solution that makes it rust.
That's the right stuff, Phil. Yeah.
Yep. This is great stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff. But the only catch is, here in Australia, the company that makes the other one that's more popular, I've seen that before, but the more popular brand, you cannot buy it here in Australia.
Really?
And I tried to bring it into the country, and they wouldn't let me bring it in the country. So my rust that I use on my cars, I make my own rust in the shed, and then put real rust on my cars.
Real rust.
Yep.
Forgive me for saying you go out to the junk yard and scrape rust off of cars.
No, I make my own. I'll prove it to you.
All right.
I don't know if you'll be able to see that because the lighting's not real good in my room, but there's a jar of rust there that I've made. That's real rust.
Huh.
Jeez. That's good, that spot.
Yeah, that's good. Then how did you get that, make that? What?
Put a bucket out in the shed, filled it with white vinegar, put some Stilo pads into the white vinegar, then got a phone charger and put a bolt on each, put a bolt on the negative and the positive, and then put them in the bucket and left the bucket out there for about a month.
Huh. Well, you could probably even get iron filings and then just fill it with water and let it rust over time.
Well, yeah, that's, I mean, you can just, it's better with the steel wool because the steel wool breaks down to a very fine powder once it dries out, and then I crush it again, and then I filter it out, and then I can have it so I could put it on an 8 scale, 16 scale, 24 scale, depending on how fine I sort out the powder, that's all.
Excellent.
Interesting. That's actually a very good idea, using a steel wool. And you use white vinegar. Yeah,
very easy to put on a car, because if you do all your, say you did all your rust holes with your X-Acto knife, did all your little holes in the body, then all you need to do then is just put on a bit of white glue, which is Elmer's glue, I think, to use, guys. We call it PVA glue, same shit.
PVA, yeah.
And then just tip the rust onto it, let it dry, and then tap off the access, and then you've got your little rust holes.
And the powder is pretty fine too.
Yeah, 24 scale, I've got to thin it right down so it's very fine sort of thing. Like, that's very fine now. I don't know how well you can actually see that.
Yes.
But that's very fine down there. And then that's how it was. That's how it originally was, like that. I'm just trying to get this camera to focus. That's how it really was. And then I fined it down and made it into a very fine powder. I don't know if that's showing up too good.
Oh, yeah, I can see it now.
Yeah.
So, like I said, depending on how fine you make the powder now, you siphon it out to whatever thickness you want, because the larger stuff like that would be all right for a 16 scale. But on a 24 scale car, that's just too coarse. That's way too coarse.
Right.
So you just find it, thin it out, till you get something nice and fine, and then you bring it down to like that sort of thing. So yeah.
That was really cool. You just gave me the idea to make rust, and I think though that would be even better than even try to imitate it with paint, because you're actually working with the thing that's supposed to be.
Well, that's the whole thing. You get a more natural result because it is real rust. And when you try and simulate it with paint, there's a danger of ending up, well, it's trying to look like rust. But the beauty of real rust is it is so random, and as you put it on, even the way Spike does it, it's real. So it's natural, and it has that feeling of naturalness about it. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I admire guys who simulate rust with paint. Absolutely. Some of them do wonderful jobs. I ain't good enough to do that. I need the real McCoy.
Uh-huh. Nice.
And good thing too, like Jack, if you ever get like if you got a model car kit, like a parts kit or something like that, you want to get some of that stuff that Phil's got, just to experiment with it and have a fiddle with it. Because I mean, if you've got a car and it's missing parts, you can just do it a rusted up body and just have it like on a little like diorama thing as a rusted up car sitting in a field somewhere.
Right, because I'm wanting to do a diorama of the movie and the TV show MASH. Do a diorama of the helicopter landing plate pad, I guess you'd call it. And I was thinking of actually mixing white glue and sand together to make the base, and then of course you put real stones in it to surround, where the helicopter would land.
Well, actually, so if I can just interject, if you don't mind, sorry for interrupting. I also find that sawdust is a good one for that. You get sawdust and you mix it with the glue, or you put the glue on first on the board on the diorama that you're using, and you put the sawdust on there, wait for that to dry, put some more glue on there, then put your dirt on. Beautiful.
Yeah.
But sawdust would be better if you're making like a car diorama, because the sawdust would make a great asphalt type feel to it.
Well, there's a guy on YouTube who does wrecked cars. He doesn't build like shiny cars. He just builds wrecked cars. And I mean, even he said it's so easy. He goes out the backyard, gets a pile of dirt, comes inside, mixes it up with white glue, spreads it on his base, lets it dry, and then he's just got to put some what do you call it, like a flat coat over the top of it. Might have to spray it with flat coat, and it's dirt. It's real dirt. So I mean, can't get any better than that.
No, it can't be, because I was really trying to think of how to start my diorama. Do I build the model and then the diorama, or do I work from the diorama on up? And I was thinking, well, I'd probably have to get the big gallon of Elmer's glue all, and that's what you call PVA glue, and just mix it in, mix sand in it.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't need that much glue if I'm using, I say about 2 or 3 cups of sand. That's probably all I need.
Yeah.
You probably want to make it a thick paste, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if you have too much glue in it, it'll just look translucent.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Okay. Yeah. And then of course you can coat what you did and just throw sand on it and let it dry, so it has a texture.
That's the other thing too. You can do that too. I mean, you don't have to mix the two parts together. You can always put the white glue on and then just put the sand on top and just let it dry and do it that way. And I mean, if you get patches where it misses out, you just repeat the same process again. So it's easy enough to do.
Yeah, somebody suggested that if you do a diorama base for a car, for an example, and you want it to be on asphalt, I just get 1,000 grit sandpaper.
Sandpaper.
And there's your asphalt.
That's right. Yep. Good idea. Yep.
Yep. So that's concrete. I haven't figured out yet, but you can probably get 1,000 grit. That's a different color. This is a metal sandpaper. You probably can get sandpaper this fine too, I would think. You can use. You can even get like 16 grit sandpaper, something like really coarse.
Yeah.
And use it as like a base for what I'm talking about. You don't even have to mix the sand together. You can just get really coarse sandpaper. But the problem is the sandpaper at the Home Depot is purple. Though it can be painted, but it's purple.
Yeah.
It can't be painted. I don't know if I have a sample of it. It's right here. I have like modeling sandpaper.
The coarse sandpaper we have over here, they use on wood. That's white, like a whitey sort of colour. That'd be more what you'd be talking about, sort of thing.
Right. It'd be like the brown sand color actually, like
Yeah.
that looks like sandpaper, but some of the sandpaper at Home Depot is like purple. I don't know why they make it purple.
I was going to say that could be colour for it, but anyway, yeah.
Well, sandpaper in the States is made in Canada. I think the Canadians have a fetish for purple.
I don't know.
Well,
Most of our
actually, all of
sandpapers
them
are black
all
or
of them
brown or gray. So
Yeah, you can use black, brown, gray. I mean, sandpaper comes in many different textures and, of course, colors. So
a lot of our wet and dry sandpaper over here in Australia, I only noticed lately, is coming from New Zealand.
What's
Go
that?
figure.
Don't know why, but yeah, it's a lot of it seems to be coming from New Zealand lately. So yeah.
Because they have igneous rock and they grind that up for the sand part, and there's a lot of shale and literally sandstone in Canada. That's why, and it's cheap to mine it there because there's like nobody around. But the quality of sandpaper in Canada is actually much better than it is made in the States.
Yeah.
But so the whole intention about this discussion is that if you're doing a diorama, if you're doing a car or an airplane, and you want something to look authentic, use the real thing.
Yeah.
I think that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
in other words, Phil, when you do your PT boat, you should have put it in water and make it.
Yeah, you're right. I did the wrong.
I think that's base is amazing for the PT boat, but I don't know if you'd want to use water as part of your diorama.
It was actually the kit came with RC motors and everything. It was initially intended for RC builders.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Nice.
But it wasn't something I was going to do because I'm not into RC. But
RC is very expensive.
What about RC Cola?
that's cheap.
Royal Crown Cola.
Yeah,
No,
so
no,
I'm working my way up to doing dioramas because I want to do the. When I was a kid, I was probably about 13 years old when Star Wars came out. And if you all remember the scene at the end of the movie where Darth Vader is chasing Luke Skywalker, I can't remember any other time in my life I was as excited as I was at that moment. That's why I want to build that diorama reflecting on my childhood, and I think that will be...
You're talking about the trench run?
The trench run, yes.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to build a trench, hang it on the wall, and make it look like it's in motion.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of ideas and what to do using a lot of clear acetates, printed acetates and layering them so the background is blurred but multi-dimensional. That would be, something to do, is to build I was thinking probably about 3 or 4 feet long and maybe about this high, making actually wall art.
Yeah, cool.
And I've got to start, practicing on other things like my MASH landing pad and so forth. Has anybody got any ideas for a diorama?
Actually, yeah, I'm about to start one today just to take a break from the Missouri. I've got the front of a Romulan warbird, and I wasn't happy with the back section, but the front's all lit, so I'm going to finish the front, and I'm going to paint a nebula and have the front of the warbird coming out of the nebula.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's a project I wanted to get started today.
That would be really cool.
I have a little bit of paint first.
What are you going to use for the nebula?
I'm going to grab a photograph off the web, and then I'm going to grab an artist's canvas and have my wife teach me how to paint with oils.
Wow. Because I was thinking fiberfill.
Well, I might use different medium, but to give it texture. But I don't want it too heavy because I want to hang it on a wall.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Okay.
Yeah, so just imagine the very front of a Romulan warbird coming out of a painting.
Yeah.
Nebula. That's what I'm going to try and achieve. You may never see it. It could
Well,
be
we were just talking about making your dioramas realistic by using a real thing. Why don't you use a real nebula?
Let's go.
Oh, yeah, righty, Jack. We'll just take
You got a few light years in your house.
Grab the nebula, bring it back down.
I'll send you 2,000 years to get back with it.
I was going to say, you need quite a few light years for a nebula.
Yeah. We haven't invented warp speed yet.
Actually, parsecs. Parsec is something like 2.7 light years, something really stupid like that.
Hello, there's a Mr. Liam Dillon who's just turned up.
So
Hi, Liam. Better late than never, I suppose.
Since this is a live broadcast, I can't possibly comment as to why I was late.
Why?
Starts with W. Say no more. That's all right. No, it's just a yes.
Okay. Oh, what are you building? What are you working on?
Deciding what to start on is the problem. I've mentioned before. Next weekend, I'm at the big Star Trek convention in London, so I've been busy doing comm badges, and I'm just fed up looking at these things.
Well, apparently you.
But this is a case of deciding.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I probably will start on the Star Destroyer in 2 weeks' time when I'm back to normal operation. And decide how much detail I'm going to go into on it.
That's a Star Wars kit?
Yeah. It's
the
old NPC kit, which I got for very little money. So.
Well, you know, I wanted to say that you do a bang-up job and you do finish your builds and you don't know how to start them, whereas I do. You can come over to my shop and finish my models.
You're going to pay the plane fare over?
Don't worry, I have things to finish. But it's a case then of whether anyone would be interested in doing a group build with the Clear D.
So few people can get hands on the Clear D. No, the Clear D is a very hard and expensive kit to get.
I know 3 or 4 that have it at the minute, so it's a case perhaps of persuading people whether it's a good idea, but...
I have a kit, and I'm not going to sell it. I don't think I would want to because it is cracked, it's not pristine, and I think I can't sell for the $160 that I sold one just this past week.
Yeah.
I bought one off eBay for $95, and a week later I sold it for $160.
Yeah, it's the going rate. Definitely, it's the going rate.
And I can't afford $160 right at the moment.
There was a second kit that popped up after I bought the $95 one. I'm like, I'm not going to invest this much money. It came out to be $80, and I didn't buy it, but it got sold right away. But when I see something like that, I will buy it and resell it for a lot of money.
Yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense. I got a Revell Type 7C 1/72nd scale submarine this morning for 20 quid.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have that as well as another possible build for the future. But I have to get stuck into something. I don't know if anyone's been. You haven't been discussing that. Stuart is building the Hasbro Millennium Falcon, which has been re-released.
Spencer's doing that one.
Beg your pardon, Spencer West. Yeah. That's I mean, it's 2.5 feet long. It is crazy the size of it. And
whopping! It's bigger than mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he was asking if you could put photo etch on it.
Yeah. Well, you have to get some made from scratch because it doesn't match up to any other. It doesn't match up with the.
No, that's the kind of build that if photo etch is it's for a particular kit. You can't. Yeah. Because Hasbro is making their thing differently than any kit, like the Fine Molds kit.
Bandy had decided to. I've just heard Bandy are doing Star Wars kits now.
Yeah, I watched the video last night from the All Japan show, and they were showing off the Bandai kits. There's some real interesting ones coming out there.
I'm gonna have to remember that for my show in 2 weeks' time.
Yes, that would be a good thing to research and have on your show. Just the same
Yeah.
as we were talking about, Liam, about doing dioramas or model kits to make them more realistic by using the real things, such as rust for cars or sand and sandpaper for and even sandpaper for asphalt. And stuff that you can, do a display that would look actually decent. There was somebody on the Amazing Plastic that did do a diorama a while ago, probably a week. See if I can find it. And it was on a curvy type of base. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about.
No.
All right, well, talk among yourselves, and I'll see if I can find it, because I really want to show this off.
Like an oval plaque sort of thing, or something, or
yeah.
I finally got a source in the UK for these things.
Ah.
What are they for? What are they used for normally?
For small, I have a specific reason for getting this one. This is a small display base. They're perfect for 1/72nd scale aircraft, but it does larger ones. So I mean, really any kit that you want, you do it to fit the size. They're only 12mm thick. So it isn't really ideal for anything that's on a stand or anything. It's meant to be a kit that will sit on the, for example. So I mean, anything that's small enough to fit on the base like that, it looks fine. It's just an easy way to display it.
Sure.
Yeah.
They're only about $2.20 each. But I've discovered that what all he's doing is he's buying MDF sheets in their 1200mm by 2400mm, cutting them and then using a router along the edges, or a router, don't know what the correct pronunciation is.
Yeah, they used to do the edges.
And it does the job perfectly. And then you just paint it whatever color suits, or make it look like marble or wood or.
Yeah, exactly. This is I can't get a closer picture of this, but this was something I found. And it's like an upside-down picture frame for what it looks like to me, and they put sandpaper down.
Yeah,
that's what it is, sandpaper.
Yeah,
that looks like asphalt. So that's a good example of what we're talking about here. What's that?
You don't need to paint it.
No, you don't need to paint it. Sandpaper comes that color. Oh, here it is. I found it. Let's see if I can get this to load up. And this is the top view I'm going to start with. There we go. Have you guys seen this?
Yeah.
Look how simple it is. And yet it just brings so much realism to the model itself.
That's a common gear.
Yeah.
It's a Volkswagen.
Yeah, Volkswagen common gear.
Yeah, common gear.
And I particularly like the little crossbar here on the double lines. They put them in a row that will vibrate the car to get you back onto the other side of it. And the bright colors, the bright red, the hue of it matches the bright blue-green of the car. Just a fantastic diorama. It doesn't have to be that big.
Yeah.
It could be simple. And look at that. They even got their sand there, Spike.
Yeah.
Got sand on there. And I'd like to know what he used. He probably used a rubber mat of some sort for the asphalt. Like a yoga mat would be textured like that.
That almost looks like that black hard mat that you can get for putting under your barbecue.
That too. Yeah. And I'm not sure as to what the wood base is from. He may have got that custom made. I can't imagine.
Get them in a kidney shape.
Yeah.
A what?
Kidney shaped.
Kidney kit.
Kidney shaped. The shape of a kidney.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
shape of a kidney. I mean, if you lose a kidney, you can install that into yourself, I guess.
Including the kidneys.
These are the things that you can do for your models, and I hope our viewers and our viewers saw what we can do with our kits, and to make them look as good as they can possibly be by putting them on the base or doing them in a diorama. And I'd like to thank you all for joining us here, and I'd like to thank each and every one of you that came, and I'd like to thank Andy. I think his internet dropped, that's why he is gone. And thanks, Andy, for showing up, and thanks, Heath, too, for your sharing.
Not a problem, laddie.
And James, welcome to the dark side, and I
no
hope
problem.
the motorcycle kit. I hope the model kit comes out the way you want to. Now, remember, it's plastic and not paper.
Oh yeah, for sure. don't want to fold it.
Don't want to fold the parts, right? And Liam, thanks for the late arrival.
Don't cut yourself.
I'm sure if he's using paper, he's aware of knives. Liam, thanks for the late arrival.
I'm talking to right now is not.
It's good to see you, and I hope you decide soon what to build. I know that's a problem. That's a serious problem.
If I stop buying bloody kits, I'll be okay.
And Phil, thanks for joining us. That was really cool. That what you shared about the rust as far as paint goes, and then of course when it came to the rule for sharing and how to do that and get the real thing. Without you guys, we wouldn't have a community like Amazing Plastic, as vibrant, as wonderful as it is, because if you want to find something out, like I got a 16th scale Mustang coming, I don't know how to wire it up, and I got people who help me, and Spike said give him a call if I run into any trouble, if the instructions are missing. I didn't know the instructions came in kits. So thank you all for watching, and you all have a happy modeling time until next time. And tomorrow night, and we're going to have this Sunday night hangout. Join us then. And also go on to YouTube and look up Richard Cleveland's account and find the latest installment of the Amazing Plastic to Scale Model show. It's been brought back on a new season, and there's a new episode. He loads up every Monday, I think, or every other Monday, I think it is. I don't know.
Bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly. Every other week he puts up a new episode. So he put one up this past week. It's on YouTube. Join him and see what he has to say about modeling. And thank you all for joining us, and you have a good, happily modeling time. Good night. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.